Nature is one of the EU's allies in tackling climate change and limiting the impacts of global warming. Healthy ecosystems can store carbon dioxide, resilient nature can help protect against floods and wildfires, and animals and plants can help maintain thriving environments. But Europe's nature is in decline, with more than 80% of habitats in a poor state and ecosystems that are losing their carbon storage potential. So how can the EU revive its environment and work with nature to combat climate change? Let's take a closer look. Nature plays many different roles in helping Europe achieve its climate targets. That includes removing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and helping the continent adapt to more extreme weather conditions. One way in which nature helps to fight climate change is by removing greenhouse gas emissions from the atmosphere. This is done by forests and soils which absorb carbon dioxide, provided they are healthy and properly maintained. Restoring these ecosystems can help boost the amount of carbon they hold. Replanting trees and re-wetting peatlands can also add to the amount of carbon pulled from the atmosphere. In the run-up to 2030, nature is due to be the major source of carbon removals in Europe. Under the Land Use and Forestry Law, or LULUCF, Europe wants to use its nature to sequester 310 million tonnes of carbon dioxide by 2030. This will require a major turnaround for Europe's nature. Its carbon storage potential was predicted to decrease to 225 million tonnes by 2030 if the status quo continued. To make sure these removals actually take place, the European Commission proposed a certification framework to verify them. Once agreed, this should drive investments in carbon removals and crack down on greenwashing. In June, the European Commission also tabled a new law to restore nature, which should help the carbon storage target become a reality. The law, currently under discussion by EU countries and the European Parliament, introduces legally binding restoration targets for different ecosystems across the EU. By 2030, these targets will cover at least 20% of EU land and sea with nature restoration measures. By 2050, they should cover all ecosystems in need of restoration, according to the European Commission. Not only is restoring nature important for reducing the levels of carbon in the atmosphere, but it is also key to protecting Europe from the increasing impacts of climate change. As the planet warms, weather patterns are predicted to become more erratic. Europe has already seen this with devastating droughts, floods and wildfires sweeping across the continent in recent summers. Alongside reducing emissions, Europe needs to get ready for more extreme weather, and here nature can help. Healthy ecosystems and proper management of land increase Europe's resilience to floods and fires. Some argue that Europe should take a more proactive approach to preventing forest fires, including allowing smaller ones to burn and clear forest floors of debris that would otherwise fuel megafires. Animals can also play a role. For example, goats can help cut down on forest floor debris and prevent megafires. Other animals are also key to healthy ecosystems. For instance, wolves help prevent overgrazing by dispersing animals and keeping populations down, while beavers' dams help prevent flooding and reduce soil erosion. Pollinators are perhaps the most important animal for Europe's ecosystems to thrive and regenerate. But pollinating species like bees are in decline due to intense land use practices and pesticides. The EU plans to reverse the decline of pollinators by 2030, as well as ban pesticide use in places like public parks and areas protected for nature. So with its work on emissions reductions, carbon removals and nature restoration, Europe has big plans to revive its environment and tackle climate change. These could all go hand in hand, but Europe has its work cut out to make it a reality.
LifeTerra is co-financed by the European Commission through the LIFE program.